victory parade that was staged in New York shortly after the soldiers came home. And the parade went up Broadway, not far from my office. So we took the day off and we went to see the troops. And they were marching smartly up Broadway, you know, and the one thing you can say about the American Army is that it is a rainbow of diversity. So here were these very attractive, buff young people, you know, black and white, and yellow and red, in their rather natty camouflage uniforms, stepping smartly up Broadway until they got to Canal Street, still very far downtown in Manhattan, at which point the parade broke up. They dispersed to do what the 20-year-olds will do after a parade, and I remember standing there and thinking to myself, what a waste. What a waste of resources. Wouldn't it be much better if instead of breaking up this parade, they kept walking up Manhattan until they got to Harlem, or the South Bronx, or somewhere where this gigantic financial, technical, and cultural resource could be used for something truly useful to society. They could build houses and hospitals. They could teach people how to read. They could deliver health care. So I began to think, you know, and these were the days when we thought the Cold War is over, we're going to get a peace dividend, we can dissolve this stupid army, and you know, do something constructive with all this cash that we've been accumulating for 200 years. And I thought, what can we give the army to do that is as exciting, you know, as great in magnitude as warfare, but a little more benign, a little bigger contribution to the future of civilization. And of course I have my own prejudices. I said, let them build cities. We need one a week. They have the bases, they have the money, they have the machinery, they have the skills, they have the connections. So we began to look around for a good site for the army to build their first city. And we found this base in Arizona, which is where the army, in fact, trains for desert warfare. It's called the Yuma Proving Ground. So we began to design a city for the army to build, the first of many. It's a little abstract, but we'll get more particular. So there are some motherhood issues expressed in this site plan, which I will go over. One, there are no cars in this city. Yeah? This is a principle with me. I would like to design as many cities that are post-automotive as possible. Not practical in all instances, but if we're going to do new ones, no problem. The city here, the basic armature for the design of this city, and I think the basic framework for thinking about good cities in general, is the neighborhood. So here are a series of neighborhoods, each of which is a 20-minute walk across, a 10-minute radius from the center of the neighborhood. This has a number of consequences. One of them, it defines the neighborhood. But second, if we think about neighborhoods as relatively autonomous, we begin to solve all sorts of other problems from the demand side. I was talking to Joe Magazine this morning about this, the editor here. Don't like to repeat myself. But look, we are worried in Amman about transportation, about moving people over relatively long distances to go from home to work. If we think about a neighborhood comprehensively, that is, a place where you can live, work, go to school, recreate, shop, basically enjoy all the necessities of daily life near at hand, you don't need any transportation. You know, if we put the body at the top of the hierarchy of movement, then a neighborhood in which one can walk to all of these things, I think begins to solve all sorts of problems. Gives a sense of identity, solves the transportation problem, conduces rich social life, adds to a kind of mixed use style of architecture. So there are neighborhoods. I also believe that good cities, and Amman certainly qualifies this way, are places in which you can get lost. So cities, as I say, should be complicated. And here you can see this is a pretty complicated environment. And this is also a desert environment. So there's a big existing artificial lake caused by a dam. So everybody is near the water. It's properly oriented for the cooling winds. Here's a drawing. Again, we'll get a little more specific. This is an old, somewhat crazy drawing, but you can certainly see my point about this being a city in which it would be fairly easy to get lost.